the knife rounds here, as we do see them, I guess, performing some sort of trampoline ritual in spawn. Now, they are all engaging in this. They are all enjoying it, but just
I
interesting
don't
to
think
see
the
how
knife
they do
round's
it.
actually live, Jim. I think that could be a nice little
Well,
sneak
there you go.
glimpse
It's a
for what we're about
precursor.
to... That's a precursor, so I'll allow you to bring the hype to what could be known as the Trident Trampoline. Some perfect alliteration there to start off tonight's match.
The Trident Trampoline. Now,
This will be the real thing.
yeah, I normally look to Lonsdale to initiate these rounds because he's the team leader, and he has as much control over their knife rounds as he does over them in game. Now, that was just a practice run. They are all now bouncing in unison. I think it's only a matter of time before they give the get-go. And they do decide to simply fall over like toy soldiers and give up that knife round there. So, living up to the hype in every sense of the word.
I'll tell you what I read into that knife round, Jim. And this is my analysis tap on. One of the players there was slightly out of sync with his suicide. A little bit delayed. Now, I'm not sure if I read into that perhaps the team aren't quite gelling as well as I'd like tonight. Maybe that's a sign of some bad things to come for the team, but a little bit out of sync in that knife round. If I was in-game leader, I'd just be having a private word perhaps after the match and just trying to understand where things fell apart, but that's definitely one to put down in their notebook to discuss afterwards.
Perhaps citing some early communication issues, Trident.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yep.
But they'll need to certainly be a little bit more on point if they are going to overcome Vox Eminor.
In all seriousness, though, so as a result, Vox will start on the counter-terror side. That was probably to be expected given that they had their choice of sides. I think they might be trolling me. Are they starting on the counter-terror side? Perhaps not. They said they were going to in chat, but then they've switched over to T side, so yet to be determined. But the point to note is that something to look out for. What we can say from what we've seen of Trident, of course, we haven't seen Vox play with this new lineup, but from Trident's perspective, when they were on T side last night, they really had that tendency to hit the B bomb site. They really showed that they wanted to contest it nearly every round. So when Team Chiefs were pushing out, there was always that battle and those fireworks going down very early into the round. So that's their primary objective. Take banana control and give themselves more options. Make the CTs play quite defensively.
Yeah, we saw Break simply just charging through Molotov smokes, flashes, you name it. He didn't care. His objective was pretty clear. So, yeah, I'd be interested to see whether or not he actually approaches these rounds with that same sort of gusto. But nonetheless, we are straight into the pistol round here with Trident. Now just sending that bomb into second mid with Break. And as we saw before, that banana control is exacted early. They didn't take any grenade damage at all, but they are going to continue straight into that B site. The smoke does go down, and Burn does get a bink already onto one of the members of Vox, and they are just going to charge in that site. He does convert their frag onto Nova there, falling quite early. They do have control of this B site, but look at that bomb. It's just simply sitting in the halls there, and that's going to go down on the A site. This fake has been sold perfectly as Moe does some cleaning up in that B site. Only Aiden now survives, and Break will have to go 2-on-1. That bomb has just gone down.
That's right, it's almost a little bit too late. I would have thought his teammates would have been able to communicate that there are probably a couple of more in con based on the footsteps they were hearing, but in any case, he has got the bomb down. It is a normal plant for Diggity, so start spamming that in the chat. But crucially for me, he's gone into apartments. I like this positioning from him. So as both of the Vox members in Cozzy and also Sicko funnel up mid, he will be able to hear them now in Diggity. Have a look at this, he's just biding his time. Sicko though, that's actually one of the first places he checks, surprised by this, but he does lose his head anyway. Well done by Break. Steps out, knows he's off the bomb. Just biding his time right now, does step out, and Kozer misses his shots, but he actually goes for the knife. Recognising that there wasn't enough time, of course, to defuse the bomb. Why not be a bit flashy? But great work by Trident. I guess that round really pivoted on their ability to execute and take that B site. Well done by them.
Great work from Break, getting Kozer off the defuse quite early. So, I think, yeah, as you said, I think he could have executed his A site hit a little bit quicker, but nonetheless, it worked out for him as they now are forced to contend with this anti-eco round. So Vox investing in a few P250s across the map and just content to play it very passively at this point as we see Kozer moving into the boiler room, just perhaps trying to get some information.
One of the first things I've noticed here is that Vox Eminor, they've actually split up the newcomers. They've got RBZ at B and Sicko at A. I was wondering if perhaps they might try and pair them together, given their recent experience as ex-teammates in F Society, but no, they will be split up. RBZ is normally very strong at locking down individual bomb sites, can stay alive for a very long time. As it is, just with the pistol at the moment, he's still being a bit of a nuisance. Actually gets a tag there onto Burn, down to 38, so forget the gun round. He's doing the damage with the silenced USP. He's actually reloading after almost every single bullet he shoots, so that's a horrible habit, needs to get rid of that. But As Break tries to suss out some information on A, he's actually already lost his life, so vs.Eminor getting the early damage and the early frags. Make it a double. Nova has got one onto Burn. The Bomb and Yellow are making their way into B, though. They should be able to get this down because the CT has backed off.
Just that lurk in second mid there. Lonsdale has been fanned out by Moe, but unfortunately Lonsdale wins that battle, just having the better gun there, Galil. And it's just sitting in that A site in that second mid. As in the meantime, Yellow, though, is just playing a game of dance at the triple box. Does pick up one frag and is trying to stay alive. Enough for his teammate to crossfire there. Aiden, who does step, but unfortunately didn't really get that second frag he was after. Great work from the guys in the A site. Oh, should I say B site. Just playing a perfect crossfire there, not peeking unnecessarily. Well done. Trying to navigate the anti-eco.
Yeah, I think navigate's probably a good word, because in the end they did lose 2 members. So if I'm Vox and I really didn't invest too heavily into the round, I'm quietly content with 2 frags, to be honest. Again, they've only got P250, so I like the way that they're very much forward-thinking, looking forward to the next gun round and trying to give themselves, as we do see Break charge, they're trying to give themselves as much utility and really money to play with next round. Frags like that will help, though. Moe with a crisp shot there onto Break. But I think it will shortly be going the way of the more equipped team, being Team Trident here. 4 members to 3. RBZ proving a nuisance here at B. Does drop Burn. So very, very quickly. I mean, they're doing a lot of damage here, which is always frustrating if you're the, I guess, winning team in this instance. That you always like to have free rounds, but when they're keeping the pressure on you like this, it can be a bit frustrating.
Yeah, their bomb is secure in that A site, and we see Nova just content to save his 5-7 in the B construction zone as Nick takes a sip of his Coke Zero. They are just going to try and hold on to those pistols. Little do they know, though, there is someone really just chasing that frag. I think that man is Yellow there. He won't get there in time, so they do save those pistols and take them into the next round.
Okay, first gun round. First question for me is, what gun does Sicko pick up? He has been renowned in previous lineups for being an AWPer. Moe had been the AWPer up until this latest lineup change, and it does look as though I am on point. Sicko has picked up the sniper rifle, so that's the first thing. Next thing for me is, will vs.Eminor contest Banana? Trident love to take it early. Let's see what they do. They are sending 2 towards Banana. Suggests to me that they won't be very aggressive.
Yeah, hopefully not overly aggressive, as we said, just allow that AWP of Sicko to do the damage there, but he will perhaps at one point go toe-to-toe with Aiden, who does also have that big Dragon Law in his possession. So just a very, very slow start. We saw this same approach to the rounds against Chiefs. Just content to set a bit of a default there. Just sending numbers into that Banana, as we saw. Base of second mid and just anchoring at the bottom mid there as well. So they do have apartments control at this point. And we'll just try and look to work a pick here at either side. Really nothing happening too fast. I assume they will regroup at some point.
One of the things they did show us last night, because let's remember, they actually managed to get 11 T rounds on Inferno, but what we found last night was that if they weren't getting early frags, which looks to be the case now, 40 seconds left, that B was generally their preferred side of attack, but that will definitely perhaps change the equation as Break does get a frag at A. Maybe that could all be all the incentive they do need to go A. But no, it looks as though perhaps the fake is on order. The bomb is now retreating to B, so that rotation there from vs.Eminor might come back to haunt them. Whilst Kozza does get a frag there, that's almost going to keep the A players pinned down, even more knowing that there are members of Trident at the A site. But the action will go down at B now. 20 seconds left. It's all on RBZ, the newcomer in the team. He's now the solo man in this B site, and he has fallen over without too much resistance there. So Trident have got control of the B bomb site. They will get it down. We are in a 3-on-3 situation, and Kozza will quickly try and rotate to B to help out his teammates.
That's it. And this retake will come in as we see vs.Eminor taking some very forward positions here in the construction. Nova there on point. We'll have to initiate something with the flash here, but that late flank is coming in from Kozza. He won't be in time to realise that the member of Trident has actually flanked Aiden, who in the construction zone there. Yellow just buying some time, enough time to make Kozza fall back. Trident successfully defend this bomb plant and will try and get themselves out of the bomb site before it does explode. Kozza will do much the same. 10 HP. Trident 3-0.
I think it's to be 4-0, I think, with the explosion. Yeah, 4-0 now as the first gun round does go their way. But I love the actual call there mid-round by Lonsdale, the in-game leader, to actually take the bomb to B there. Despite getting that first frag at A, they recognised that the bomb had actually been left back strategically back near T-ramp in between both sites. But by the time they would have recovered the bomb and got back up to A, of course someone from Vox Eminor would have rotated from B. It would just have that take that long with the time-wise. So I love the call to go B there. And great start by Trident. Again, proving that their T-side Inferno can be quite powerful. Certainly a lot to handle for an experienced team like Chiefs, let alone a new lineup like Vox Eminor. We've already seen them get the first frag here. Kozev will be the important man here though, having saved that cult from last round. But as it is, Moe's already got the first frag, and he grabs an AWP for himself as well. Not currently the AWPer in the team, but certainly was before Sicko was picked up, so he can be extremely potent with that rifle.
And now we'll be looking to make an impact with them in that site there as Boone just tries to open things up a little bit there. Get the frag. No, you aren't seeing things. RBZ is not on the T side. He's actually on the CT side, so the HUD has bugged out a little bit there. But Sicko's just taking a fight there as Kozi will now get the jump here on Lonsdale. Indiggity does do the damage, get the frag and fall back into the pit. And now Trident again being picked apart. They really need to regroup here and I guess decisively hit a site there as we see, because it's been flushed out with that Molotov there. But in the meantime, the moto box there, Sicko capitalises and gets that P250 frag and is cleaning up the damage there. Cleans up yellow as well. Great eco round there from Vox Eminor. Some indecision costing Trident dearly.
Yeah, very, very messy. Particularly, I mean, the standout frag for me was the fact that Moe got that kill at the top of mid, seemingly unchallenged. I mean, the terrorist had walked up. I can't quite remember which player it was, but there was no utility there to perhaps block off one of the sides of mid. So in the end, he was killed with his back turn. Didn't even put up a fight for Moe. You can't afford to do that against a team with strong individuals such as Vox Eminor. They almost approached it a little bit with a lackadaisical approach. I would have liked to have seen them almost treat it like a gun round. Use the utility, use the Molotovs that they have invested in. Otherwise, they just go to waste.
Exactly right. As we see now, Trident on a bit of a mismatch buy there. Obviously, we saw Break do some damage with the Deagle last night, and he's obviously confident with that once more. Confident enough to try and make something happen with it. As we see, Trident, just a little bit of apartments control. They are now going to just push their way up through mid and try and bait out some utility from Vox Eminor. Vox Eminor, however, are not buying into it just yet. The smoke will go down just at the top of mid, delaying things a little bit further. And Trident will collect that bomb. And I'd assume pick a site.
I like the change of play here by Vox. Definitely keeping things and Trident on their toes. We can see Sicko's actually rotated around to hold the diggity side of mid with the AWP. So they're not trying to show too many patterns or trends. Trying to keep mixing things up. And I like that. That'll make Trident keep guessing, especially later on in the half. You can see a few nades coming over the top now into B. It's actually forced Nova to drop his Molotov. He's actually run out of utility right now. Just from that one or two, I guess, players throwing a few utility grenades into B. But as it is, Burn will now try and sell the fake even more by stepping into the site. And quickly it's turned from being a fake to an actual attack with 15 seconds left. The players have now regrouped on B, but RBZ doing a great job here at stalling for time. They cannot frag him. Eventually they drop him, but with 4 seconds left, that bomb needs to be planted. I think it might just do that. And cause it does, in his endeavour to kill Yellow there, who was planting the bomb, fall at the hands of Aiden. We're down to a 3-on-2 situation. One member Break was flanking through CT, but he is taken down. Sicko aware of the threat and actually finishes the job as well with that AWP. Great work by Sicko. Doesn't matter which direction they come at him, he's fragging them both ways.
Moe there with the single bullet onto the gentleman in the back right. Doing a great job there. As we said, Sicko, great cover with that AWP. Picking up the last 2 frags and just allowing Vox Eminor to retake that site. Yeah, I don't like the way that Trident left it really late to hit that site. It really didn't afford them, I guess, too many options there. But they did get the site entry. They did get the plant. But Vox Eminor were really strong in that retake.
Yeah, I must admit, I don't mind the time they hit it. I think it was more in terms of their after plant play and positioning that let them down there. I mean, a 3-on-2 situation, holding a site, you normally back yourselves despite what HP advantage or disadvantage you might have. I think they'll be a little bit disappointed if they lost that round. 4 rounds to 2. In any case, off the back of that plant, Trident can afford to force buy. Now, this is crucial with only 2 members surviving last round for Vox. If Trident could win this round, it will reset Vox's economy in a bad way, but RBZ isn't having any of that as he gets 2 frags there, spraying them down from behind the fountain. And as Yellow eventually drops his teammate in the form of Sicko, he does retreat, but RBZ has had time to reposition himself, but almost showing his head with disregard for his life there. He does fall in the site, because they're able to recover the situation and drops him. So these are very close rounds that are going Vox's favour, but the key word there being it's Vox's favour they're going in. That's 3 in a row they're strong together.
Yeah, Vox Eminor very much on the rise here. They have sort of started to work out Trident. Their retakes have been really strong, actually. I'm really Impressed with the way that Vox Eminor are orchestrating their retakes. But Trident certainly were disappointed with their post-plant, I guess, positions and site defenses. That's really what's letting them down at the moment. They are getting in. They are stimulating their economy with those plants, but as we said, just not converting the rounds there. And they will, again, buy up as a result of getting that plant last round. Sicko, though, does tag Break, I believe, just a little bit there in the mid. And, again, just sending numbers into that banana and trying to take control of it. They do simply just walk in there. Vox Eminor happy to give it to them. And by the looks of things, they will execute onto this B site in a moment's notice. Nova, though, has other plans as he takes one down. Now the second as well, before he is felled by Yellow and now Trident. Only 2 members remaining. We'll have to make something happen here. Lonsdale, a little bit far away from his teammate, will try and make a pick to make some sort of rotation happen off that B site. But unfortunately, that bomb has fallen there. They do realise they have control of it. So, I believe Lonsdale is going to try and get another pick here. He does take on Corsair. Not enough HP, though, to enter that battle and come out the victor. Vox Eminor now string their 4th round together.
Yeah, I'm impressed with the fragging of Corsair. I mean, they have juggled the in-game leader responsibilities between Cozzy and Moe. But as of this point in time, Cozzy has definitely resumed captain responsibilities and is definitely calling the strategy, but he's still putting up the numbers as well whilst fragging. So sometimes that can be a difficult burden to, I guess, shoulder, having, I guess, all of the team listening to you and relying on you to really make or break the game, but doing a great job fragging as well for his team. Finally, Trident have decided to eke around. Good decision, I think. Time to just slow things down, make sure that everyone can afford their weapons of choice and the, I guess, utility of choice, and perhaps just might be a nice little mental break. There's almost the pressure off them this round.
Yeah, that grenade doing a lot of damage early on in the round there. And Nova just stepping and capitalising. RBZ getting ready to get some frags of his own, but Trident are just being picked apart in this banana here. They really haven't done too much this round, too much damage done to Vox at all. And that is the perfect way to handle an anti-eco round, as we see Vox claim what is their 5th straight round, and it really starting to capitalise on this CT side of Inferno as I bump my plate in excitement.
Dramatic stuff here, clearly. Cutlery goes flying, but at the moment, it's really Vox Eminor, and it's all going their way. They can't put a foot wrong for the last 5 rounds, and I think it's really almost caught Trident off guard. They had so much success on this side of the map last night against Chiefs. Another great, strong team in Australian Counter-Strike, so probably would have been expecting after getting off to such a strong start tonight to be able to, I guess, repeat their strengths and efforts from last night, but not to be. Aiden does have that AWP in his hands, though. I like this. This was the opportunity that they afforded themselves by ecoing last round. You can see him slowly working his way up mid, and he's actually followed by a few teammates in tow as well, so A does look to be on the cards for probably one of the first times in this match. Even though they had been putting pressure on A, they haven't actually committed to the site in what feels like a lifetime. Since the pistol round, I believe, and that was based off a B fake, but we do see the members sussing out mid. Again, Burn going in first. He is the explosive entry fragger of the team. When he's hitting his shots, he can drop any player. When is the key word, though. They have put pressure on mid. Again, though, Jim, they are falling back into B. This has been a strong hold for Team Vox so far at the B side.
Yeah, and that passive A is paying dividends at the moment because essentially the guys from B haven't had to rotate at all. They are keeping 2 on that site, and that Molotov, interestingly, I'm not too sure what the purpose of that was. Maybe just to keep the guys from rotating down to banana, but I think that would have been better expended a little bit later. As we see Break on point here in the arch. He's going to need to try and work a pick here for his team. He does actually pick up Cos here, so that will open up the jungle side of A, but in the meantime, Sicko and Moe just combining to defend Diggity quite well from Yellow, but he does spin around on a dime and try and pick up that second frag. Aiden, who now has the AWP in hand and has the site, will get the plant, and will need to take on Moe, or should I say Nova and RBZ. He does pick up the first frag, and Nova tries for the second, unfortunately missing that quick scope there. Very, very, very difficult shot to make, and the Dragon Law not coming up trumps for him.
RBZ getting the defuse now, so it will be 6 rounds to vs. Eminor. RBZ, some questions were surrounding, I guess, when he was first picked up by vs. Eminor. Some people were speculating that perhaps he was part of a package deal with Sicko. People were definitely a little bit surprised, I think, when Aries got removed from the team. But I think he is a really, really strong player and can bring a lot to the table here. And I think given this opportunity in a high-level team, such as vs. Eminor, with a lot of exposure and a lot of strong individuals around him, I think that's a perfect environment to succeed. But that was probably the round, as tough as that was for Aiden to close out, that would have been a great round for, I guess, to really fire up the guys from Trident. Aiden is, I guess, the emotional heart and soul of the team, and he would have been screaming and yelling at his teammates had he made that shot, firing them up. But as it is, Lonsdale has fallen down to start this next round, so Vox Eminor looking very, very strong. You can see the utility they still have up their sleeves as they do lock down mid now with the smoke grenade. And another frag or two to help the cause. 5 members to 3. Advantage Team Vox.
That's it. With 3 members remaining, they are going to hedge their bets on that B site. Obviously, they favour the 3v2 potential situation that will unfold there. So I'd imagine in just a moment's notice, they are going to try and make something happen now. Aiden Hu, just on point with that AWP, is going to try and get a pick to allow his team an easy entry into the site, but no one is showing their dome just yet as Aiden, I guess, crosses paths with another member of the CT. They're like passing ships in the night. They really don't, I guess, meet with too much of a fuss at all, but they're determined on this B site. They are just going to wait out that smoke and then hopefully execute. Otherwise, they are going to be in dire straits. Aiden just trying to seek that pick. The utility from Vox Eminor is greatly being utilised here as now Nova and RBZ are just going to sit back in this site. They're going to try and bring the fight to them as Burn opens things up. I thought he got the double there, which would have been fantastic, but nonetheless, the site has been opened up and the plant will go down, leaving it really to the last moment there to get the frags, and Yellow does narrowly escape with his life, and a 3v3 retake will need to occur for Vox Eminor to take this round. Yellow does great bowling there, taking the middle stump of Moe, and now Burn cleans up with Aiden Hu with the next frag as well. Trident are going to claw their way back into this match.
Great work there by Trident closing out that round. I mean, that was a 3-on-5 situation. They made those frags onto both of the B-side defenders, Nova and RBZ, with about 8 or 9 seconds left on the clock. That was some great work by them. You can't help but feel what could have been if those 2 members could have just stalled for a little bit more time from Vox's part. I mean, they still had utility grenades up their sleeve. I think they'll probably ruin that opportunity that could have been to really stamp their foot on the throat of Team Trident. But as it is, and that's certainly a violent image, I recognise that, but as it is, Team Vox Eminor here, of course, can afford to buy. They've strung that many rounds together that this is no problem for them. So it's going to mean another buy round for Trident. They must string back-to-back rounds together. You can see they've gone for a split approach to start the round. So Burn leading the way up Banana as per usual, closely followed by one of his teammates there in the form of Yellow, the team captain. But again, Lonsdale and a couple of his buddies have taken apartments control, and I do like this. It keeps a lot of pressure. It definitely keeps the CTs honest today by doing so. Because they're there, I think, suspicious of some mid-activity, so he will drop a smoke down, but Aiden there, he does drop that frag through the smoke. Perfect timing. He couldn't see Koz but biding his time, counting in his head, waiting to click that trigger. And more perfect and precise he could not have been. Great way to open up the round for Trident here. And this is exactly what they need. It's actually going to cause a rotation, I'm thinking. Not quite. Nova's in CT spawn at the moment, almost asking himself, should I go help A? Do they really need my help? I don't think his teammates can even answer that question at the moment because they're not sure where Trident are going. But Aiden, he's just still dropping frags left, right, and centre. It does look like A will be the side of attack. They have got 2 frags there now, so a lot of pressure here on Moe in the pit. And it proves to be too much as he does go down with that much of a fight. And as the bomb goes planted, you can see RBZ and Nova running for cover at the B bomb site. This will be Trident securing their 6th round, but more importantly for me, their 2nd in a row. This is going to put Vox in a precarious financial situation.
Precarious financial situation indeed, and they are going to try and hunt these guns there. As we see Yellow just making his way through Banana, just going to clear things out. They do realise that they are at that B site, and they are going to try and cordon them off and execute them accordingly, but they do manage to pick up 1 frag. Nova defending himself quite proficiently there. Does get traded though, and RBZ picks up the trade frag as well. His position now is known to the terrorists, and Aiden just content to try and save his gun there. The damage though has been done, but the HPs really aren't going to afford another battle this round.
Yeah, that would have been great if they could have dropped RBZ, at least for Trident's cause. As it is, you can see he has saved that M4A4, but all of his teammates with, I guess, a few of them about $2,000. One, Sicko, actually balling in cash at about $5,500. So he has invested in a shotgun. I'd expect that he actually pushed towards the A apartments here. I mean, the close quarters that they do offer can certainly prove deadly if you've got a shotgun in hand, let alone with the aim of someone like Sicko. A heavy carry in his previous teams, extremely strong individual. You can see Burn again. They're showing the same trends and patterns to Vox in the sense that they want to take control of the same areas each round, and then they're mixing up their mid-round decision-making. So it makes it hard if you're Vox Eminor to really tell which site Team Trident have in mind when it comes to the final attack. Looks like Burn lining up a smoke here for Coil, so perhaps trying to sell a bit of a B fake and I guess suss out any utility raids that might be there. Maybe try and hear if they could, I guess, provoke any of the CTs into firing their guns, hear what sort of weaponry they have at the B side, all of which would prove great information for the in-game leader.
That's it, and try and just content to sit and wait at the moment, see if they can spur any rotations out of the CTs. Nova, though, just changing his position up a little bit, moving into a more aggressive position with that P250. He does opt to back off, though, so that bomb will make its way up Banana, and these Trident members will try and make something happen here at the B site. They will take on but Sicko, as we said, very dangerous with that Nova picking up that first frag there. The trades will come down in that B site. Not optimal for Trident, but that nonetheless, that site has been claimed. Break's lurk has been realised. They are just seeking him and finding him here. But 3v2 this situation for Trident. They need to defend this bomb site. Aiden Hu and his teammate Yellow just setting up a crossfire. That Molotov flushes him out. He does still manage to pick the frag up as well, though. Aiden Hu chimes in with a frag of his own, and now Sicko has that AK. We'll try and make something happen here. 12 HP, though. He's not going to be able to take a lengthy firefight with either of them, as he does fell Aiden Hu with that AWP. It has been a costly round for him there, as now he will make his retreat back down that Banana and simply save the AK. Damage has been done. Will Yellow be able to get away with this AWP, though? I think fatally he's missed it and will fall in this B site.
Well, certainly running towards the bomb isn't going to help AD's cause of surviving, but I don't think he had much chance of living anyway. But I just couldn't help but marvel at the perfect harmony of Sicko getting a frag with the Nova just then. I love that. But as it is, it does look as though a pause has been called. So it's been called by Trident. I'd be surprised if it was a tactical pause at this time. I mean, they've won 3 rounds in a row. Surely it must be a medical pause, Jim? Has it come out again for the second night in a row? A second medical pause?
Not again. You're not preaching another medical pause, surely.
Well, apparently, no. I have just received confirmation it is a tactical pause. So, interesting to take it this early on in the half. I mean, each team is afforded 1 for the map. So, I mean, it is a 5-minute break in which they're entitled to. But I guess their mindset must be they recognise that they've just started to get on a little bit of a roll. Maybe they just want to make sure that, I mean, that round itself was quite sloppy from them, even though they won. Maybe they just want to make sure that they can close out these final 2 rounds of the half. Their favoured half. They do prefer T-side, despite the fact that it is Inferno, which is notoriously CT-sided. They still prefer T-side. I guess they just want to make sure they close out the half quite strongly and set themselves up well for the CT side to come.
Yeah, maybe they've taken a Vegemite break. Who knows?
Oh, dear.
Meat pie break. Anything else, Ocker, we can think of? Yeah, not quite. But look, either way, they have.
I had a curry pie for lunch.
I'm not too sure whether it would be perhaps a latency issue for one of their members, but all seems to be fine across the board. So,
what is your favourite pie, though, Jim?
What is my favourite pie? Steak and egg.
Oh, that's horrid.
You say that, but like
you put egg in a pie? Oh, dear.
It's magic. Absolute
magic.
Not.
It's really not. In any case, that's almost distracted me from my commentary because I just can't get that image out of my head now. But at 7-6, the unpause will come in. I hope for their sake that they have not just had any bites of a steak and egg pie because that will really upset their stomachs for the rest of this match. That horrible combination. But Trident definitely looking the goods. I'm curious to see that Break's actually invested in a Mac 10 this round, knowing that, of course, Fox Eminor would be able to afford weaponry given the fact that they've just ecoed and got so many frags to go along with it. I mean, if there's anyone that can do it on Team Trident, it's probably Break, though. He's an intelligent player. He probably excels more with these sort of fun guns than other guns. But look at the aggression here from Vox. This is something we haven't seen. And I like the fact that they brought this to the table, particularly after a tactical pause. That's normally a time when a team will try and, I guess, bring a lot more structure to a round. So Vox trying to upset that by being very aggressive at Banana, and it's worked well for them in the sense that they have got 1 frag and they've got Breakdown. He's on death's edge at the moment, 9 HP. Yellow not far behind on 29 HP. They backed off now. The tempo will slow down.
That's it. And now look to that AWP of Aiden Hu once again to open something up a little bit further with that pick, as we see Sicko there mortally wounded, 3 HP. Just playing a little bit more passive than he normally would. But Trident are going to regroup at the top of pillars here. Because he does spot the head of Lonsdale and remove it quite swiftly. And now Trident losing members quicker than they can capitalise, as Aiden Hu decides to take the initiative here. Pick onto this jungle side. Just hold the line of the arch for his teammate there. Break on very little HP. does enough for his teammate there to capitalise and get the frag, and Moe will fall in that library area. In the meantime, Yellow does walk out the carpet, simply pick up the frag, and now they have this ace site. I'm impressed with Trident's ability to turn things around as these 3v5 situations are so dangerous here, as Break doesn't need a smoke to tell that RVZ is somewhere in there, and it does get caught hiding. Nova now will need to prove his worth, as he is going to go 1-on-2 with 2 of Trident's best, as Aiden misses that first shot. Nova needs to advance on this side if he's going to retake things. He does know the position of at least one member of Vox Eminor, or should I say Trident. I keep getting these two confused, but nonetheless, Aiden Hu steps and makes the difference there. Trident survive a retake from the most dangerous man in the cosmos, Nova. And more importantly, secure another round on this T side. It means they do win out the half, would you say?
Yeah, I'd be curious to know, for me, if we look back and if we ran the numbers, I'd be curious to know, of the 8 rounds that Trident have got, how many times they've actually lost the first member in the round. They really, like you said, they've done a fantastic job tonight of salvaging some near unwinnable situations. And I think that really Vox will be slightly disappointed with the fact, or probably more than slightly, disappointed with the fact that they've only got 6 rounds. To me, they've almost felt like they've really set themselves up well nearly every round, but to have lost the first half, regardless of what happens in this round, I think they'll almost be a little bit confused at the end, going, where did those rounds just go? But we can see here there's 3 members of the defense at B site, so as Break and Burn again try and put early pressure on B. Quite a defensive setup there, but unfortunately for Vox's sake, they only have some light weaponry that they did manage to afford off the back of the last few rounds they've lost. So I think with that strong presence and perhaps those extra few utility grenades that have been dropped by the CTs at B, that should be enough information for Trident to head back towards A. Burn still doing his best job to keep them interested, keep them busy. If only he shot his crosshair just then, he would have taken the head of one of the members. But even the noise jumping up and down that he's making is doing a great job of keeping them interested and allowing his teammates, such as Aiden, to walk up mid undefended.
That's it, and Sicko there will take a fight with Break there at the jungle. Does come out victorious, and Kozia picks up and makes 7 frag for his trouble in the cup. It's again Trident on the back foot, but this is where they are at their prime. As now they are going to try and take this A side. Sicko, though, does pick up another crucial frag for his team, and they are going to charge through Diggity here. Sicko, though, is able to get that bomb down, and now a lot of work to do for Burn. He is a sharp player, but he will need to show all his credentials here in order to salvage this round. Trident does fake the plant and draw out Nova, but Nova, way too, I guess, aware in that situation, just simply charging right in.
Yeah, definitely, and I must admit, full credit must go to Yellow. I mean, look at the scoreboard at the moment, dropping 17 frags, leading his team. He's not really known for being able to drop such huge numbers on the scoreboard. He's more of that consistent support player that's ever reliable, but not necessarily an explosive player. So he's putting up a lot of hard work for his team at the moment. But I can't help but think 8-7 for Trident. Vox have really got to be a bit disappointed, I think, to only finish on 7 rounds, given how well they had started each and every round. I think they were getting entry frags. Sometimes there were 5-on-3s they were losing. It was as though perhaps late rounds, that was where we were seeing perhaps some of those teething issues as a new team. Perhaps some communication that wasn't slightly on point. Perhaps just the team chemistry was a little bit slightly off, given they've only been together for 2 or 3 weeks. I think give them time, though. They'll be able to close out those rounds. They definitely have the individual strength to do so. Not just yet, though, it looks.
Just some teething issues, I'd say, is... we put it down to, I think some teams normally experience what they'd call a honeymoon period in terms of results. I mean, these guys are thrown straight under pressure. They don't really have the luxury of being able to practice for too much, as my scoreboard seems to have bugged out in the game. So I will restart that for everyone.
Meanwhile, I can confirm the second round is shortly going to go live. It does look as though Vox are going for the 5 armor strat. Of course, with a couple of decoy grenades that will surely come in handy. I'm sure they'll find a fantastic way to utilize those. But for Trident's sake, I think 3 of the members actually have utility grenades, and they're actually pushing very aggressively down Banana. 3 members here, so it looks as though there could be a firefight at the bottom of T-Ramp if Trident are insistent on pushing down. I think that Molotov might be enough to scare off some of the defense there from Vox, but Trident have rethought their plan. They have fallen back now. They're happy with the Banana control they do have. RBZ's still very, very tentative and scared of any close pressure of the team. He's not to know that they've fallen back. Because they're trying to scout out what's happening in A. You can see they're actually quite well established now. They do have 4 members here, Team Trident. They've rotated back from B, so Burn is doing his best job to lock down this B side solo, so his team can support them at A.
Yeah, Koza just selling a bit of a fake into apartments. Does manage to pick up a first frag as well. So Break does fall quite early in the picture, and Burn doesn't fall much further after him, and that B-side is now wide open as Lonsdale tries to do his best to get an extra pick for his team, but Sicko has a great position on him there. Unaware, shot straight in the side of the head, and Aiden Hu does get that trade frag quite quickly, but they have this site quite convincingly. A 4v2 retake will need to ensue. And Moe just itching at the scalp to get that frag. He does pick up that first frag there, and the second as well. Great work from Moe. As we said, the form player in Australia right now, outside the top two teams. We saw his credentials in our domestic league finals, and they're just showing, once again, why he's been so instrumental in his team's success.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, he's been dropping bombs on offline competitions and online competitions consistently for the last 2 to 3 months. I think the call you made there, form player outside of the perhaps Chiefs, IM Renegades, I think definitely fair assessment there. He's definitely bringing the frags tonight as well. Perhaps relinquishing the in-game leader responsibilities, perhaps just freed him up a little bit. But in any case here, we can see Trident on an eco round. Quite strangely for them, they haven't invested in any armor or any fancy sort of pistols. Apart from a couple of P250s, it's almost a full eco from them, which for most teams might be a standard play second round, but Team Trident normally back themselves with those custom weapons and winning those sort of eco rounds in tough situations. We saw how well they performed in tough situations in the first half. Well, an eco round's just another opportunity to showcase that for them normally. But as it is, perhaps they're playing the long game here, thinking about first round buy on the fourth round.
Yeah, we did see them do that last night to Chiefs, didn't we? You saw them buy up early on that CT side. It did work out for them quite funnily enough, as they did manage to surprise their opponents. I mean, they are weighing up the option, but I think at this stage they're just going to opt for P250s across the board there. Aiden Hu, obviously needing to play an economic game. They want that AWP in his hand, so he's not buying anything at all. So, Vox Eminor, we'll see a little bit of damage done by that grenade. A great use of utility there, $300. Hopefully will be worth it at the end of the round there, as they do damage to, I think, RBZ there, just within a few inches of his life. The grenades there, had that second grenade been directed just as well as the first, it would have had a great reward for Vox Eminor, as they are taking peaks here. And geez, look at the HP on Moe, RBZ, and Nova, 1, 13, and 21 respectively. It's danger signs here for Vox Eminor. If they can get caught out here, as Yellow gets a great frag onto Sicko and just delay that A site hit a little bit further. They are just streaming through Diggity into the site, and funnily enough, he's being challenged by the low members of Vox Eminor. More importantly, though, they get that plant, so this round is now on a timer. They will probably opt for some exit frags here, though, as they really aren't in a position now to go for the round. RBZ doing great work, 13 HP, still manages to get the frag now, and Yellow just trying to perhaps get an exit.
Yeah, I think if they could communicate just how low the HPs were at the end of this round to each other, they'd be heartbroken to think that they've only ended up with one frag. Yellow's trying to obviously get a few more, but I think the T's are going to have vacated the site before he's going to have that opportunity. So great work by Vox in the sense that they managed to keep players alive. Not all teams can do that, especially under the pressure that Trident were applying. But for Trident's sake, like I said, 1 or 2 extra HEs that were a little bit better positioned, the end result of that round could have been so much different for them. But as it is, we will head into the first gun round. So 10 rounds to 8. Vox, of course, in their favour at the moment. But Aiden has picked up that AWP now. He's definitely favoured on the CT side, much more than he is on the T side with that weapon. He's normally great at locking down sites, holding lines very, very well. So will he be in his element now as we see him setting up at the top of mid with that AWP? As it is, all 5 members of T's have gone with the rifles. A lot of utility to support them on their cores, and it's almost looking like a Trident-esque start to the round in the sense that Vox are putting a lot of pressure on B and A at the same time, and it's worked wonders for them as Lonsdale loses his head there at the B site. And it's just going to cause Trident to, I guess, double-desk themselves now. Do they rotate? Some teams like to play 2-2, 2 at A, 2 at B in this situation if you lose an early man. Some teams prefer to have 3 at A, 1 at B. Like I said, it all depends on that strength and confidence of that player at B and what he is communicating to his team. As it is, Trident have opted to keep 3 at A, leaving a lot of responsibility with Burn, but it looks to be the right call as Team Vox Eminor heading up mid and apartments.
They are going to head up towards A here. That bomb is going to make its way through the halls as now Koze busts onto this site, does catch Yellow with a grenade out there. That Molotov really isn't too much use. Aiden Hu gets caught out, but he's up to the challenge, takes the frag there, and now a 3v4 situation will unfold. That retake They need a pick here early, otherwise they face being locked out of the site. As we see, 2 members of Vox Eminor just content to sit in that pit. Moe lurking around in those apartments and just going to try and take a fight here in that boiler. That Molotov is well placed by Break, but they are not going to go for this at all. They're just going to save their guns. If all 3 of them do survive, they will be able to drop for their teammates in this next round. But unfortunately, Break, a little bit late to exit the site there. Now, Burn and Aiden have a bit of a crossfire here. It does work wonders picking up Nova, but I just think losing that extra man is going to place a lot of economic stress on Trident here. As we see the score, 11-8 shot, sorry, to Vox Eminor, just starting to streak away a little bit.
I love the way there by Vox Eminor they managed to close out that round. I mean, we saw that Trident made the correct call, as it turned out, in keeping 3 members at A when they had only 4 left alive. And I thought that by doing so, they were going to be really well positioned to lock down that side, especially late round with the timer going down. But Vox just showing, I guess, the strength and their ability to make those trade frags, because as it was, they took the A side, really not put under too much pressure, and at the end it was them hunting Trident, trying to get those exit kills and restrict their economy. You can see that Trident have fully bought this round, but it's meant that Lonsdale only has a CZ. That's the difference between having 3 members survive and 2 members survive. So a lot of pressure on Lonsdale and a lot of pressure on all of Trident now, because this is make or break for them. They've invested heavily now. If they don't win this round, they're going to be without any bank and Skrilla to back them up.
Aiden doing a bit of gardening there, just looking at the hedges through the scope and really identifying perhaps any potential problems in the garden. But nonetheless, he is tasked with defending jungle side there. As now Vox Eminor just sending members into Banana. That bomb will be collected, and I assume they will go straight towards this B side. Great placement there of a smoke, just delaying things a little bit further for the team. Lonsdale, though, is just in limbo. He's not really, I guess, convinced he should stay on that site. Aiden, though, has been flashed out. They are sending members across the site. Cosy, they're doing a great job lurking for his team, keeping all 3 members on that A side, but he will fall quite early. In the meantime, the action's gone down at B, and now Lonsdale has a whole site to defend on his own. The CZ is going to be his best friend here. Unfortunately, doesn't get him a frag. Nova opening things up a little bit further, and that bomb will go down if it makes its way to that site. Sicko recognising he does actually have the bomb, and will plant on that barbecue grill. Trident now need a frag quite early if they are going to go for this. They really can't afford it if they do lose this round.
It certainly looks like the decision's been made to save, because whilst Break is quite close, look at the overlay. His 2 teammates are over at A apartments at the moment, just chilling, relaxing, I guess calming down after a hard day at work, but it's definitely going to be another round going Vox's favour. A nice little similarity that I might point out is that Kozer, the in-game leader of Vox, and Lonsdale, the in-game leader of Trident, are both quite similar in the sense that when, I guess, there's a role in the team to do that individual fate or separating from the pack, it's the in-game leader preferring to take on that responsibility. You saw Kozer there at the top of mid trying to sell that A fake on his own whilst his teammates headed towards the B bomb side. Lonsdale does a similar sort of thing where he likes to go off solo. I guess the mindset there and the reason why, because some in-game leaders prefer to send other players off to do those duties, but I guess they're more confident when they can, I guess, hear the information and in control of the tempo and can decide exactly, I guess, what time is required to throw each individual utility grenade, and more trustworthy almost of their own game sense in those conditions. I guess there's no right or wrong answer. It's just preference. But I like that parallel between the 2 teams.
Yeah, you're just using those in-game leaders, I guess, for information. The informational plays, more so than anything else. I mean, obviously, Kozer's getting a few more frags on the lurk than Lonsdale did on the T side, as we see on the scoreboard there. Just lagging a little bit behind his teammates, but nonetheless still playing a role for his team. As we saw, they still were able to get a lot of T rounds, regardless of who was fragging. So, I mean, it's not all about what's on the scoreboard there. Certainly playing a great role for his team.
Yeah, I knew that you'd be the first one to be proclaiming that's not what it's all about on the scoreboard, mate. Doesn't surprise me to hear you voicing that, because I have had the privilege of playing with you quite a few times, and you're definitely the Lonsdale of the team in the sense that you're on the bottom. But in any case, I guess Trident are now, especially on the world stage, but I guess Trident are now in a situation, Jim, where by continuously saving, I mean, in the context of each round, it's probably the right decision. I don't question that. Saving those 3 rifles in an unwinnable, untenable situation is the right decision in my mind, but I guess it almost forces their hand where next round they are going to commit the other members who didn't save their guns to force buy. I guess the end result here is, if you look at what utility and weaponry those members we're talking about have, You've got Famises or a Famis on break. You've got perhaps some light utility on Aiden, light utility on, I'm looking at yellow. It just almost compromises the gameplay for the following round, thus making it harder to win that round and get back on winning ways. So there's twos and fros, but I guess in this sort of situation, there's not much else they can do but stay in the present time and do their best to pull around these difficult rounds.
That's exactly right. They do need to just band together. I mean, it is a technical pause. I'm not too sure what the issue is, but I'm sure, nonetheless, they're going to be using this time to regroup. Trident, obviously, weren't the ones to call for that pause, but they will certainly be trying to utilise it to their fullest.
I think at 12-8, I mean, that's now, I'm just counting, that's 5 rounds in a row this half, the first 5 rounds of the half that Vox have won. But it also, I guess if we look back a little bit further, they've actually won 6 rounds in a row, so they've definitely got all the momentum now. And they've come back from being in a position where they've been behind on the scoreboard. It would have been 6-8 to now being held head 12-8. And I think even though they're on the less favourable side, on the terrorist side, I'm just wondering whether it's allowing their individual players who are so strong. Sicko is such a so much fragging potential. RBZ can really go off as well if he's on form. I'm just wondering whether it's almost freeing up those players a little bit more, allowing them to play looser style, and perhaps the scoreboard reflects that, I'm wondering.
Yeah, finally they do get back underway though, so Vox, Eminor, no doubt, just keen to kick things off and continue that momentum they've been able to build on their T side, so Lonsdale will do a little bit of damage to that Gren. RBZ, lucky to escape, with only 15 damage done to his hit points for the round, but just backing off a little bit in the banana, resetting. They do have banana control. Trident just happy to give it to him for the moment, but again, just setting themselves up in that default there. Sicko, Kozi and Moe just taking control of mid and second mid respectively.
Yeah, I like this. My primary objective if I'm Vox Eminor and I'm the in-game leader, knowing that Trident are on these 4 spies with limited utility, is to first of all get rid of any utility that they do have left. Put pressure on the different points of the map, and if they've only got 1 or 2 grenades to start the round with, it won't take very long to get them out their hands, especially if you're right up in their faces. So it doesn't surprise me to see they've gone for a split approach. As it is, Sicko was at banana at the start of the round, now sussing out top of mid. He probably wouldn't find anyone for quite a long time though if he was to explore a little bit further, because Trident, very, very passive in the A site. We saw this last night. They are quite passive on their CT sides. Now that puts a lot of pressure because the rotation time can be quite a long way in between each site, but as it is, the smokes and flashes will set them up for a rapid A here. So Sicko leading the charge. He will actually go through the smoke that was laid down by his teammates and almost obscures his vision as he comes around and steps into Yellow's crosshair. The trade will come down. We're down to a 4-on-4, but RBZ picks off Aiden through the gap in there in the pit. I think almost predicting that someone would surely be holding there, but break quickly on the rotate now. A lot of pressure being applied as they do swarm onto Vox Emenor's site defense. And you can see with no one in the pit, it's left 2 members of Vox trapped in the site here. Break suspects and can hear the noise they're making. Makes the frag, but there's one more to get. It's all down to Nova. Break very, very low, and he probably has the advantage here if it's not really planted for Nova. It's deep in the site, but his break steps around to try and get that frag. Exposes too much skin, and Nova with the higher HP finishes the deal. 13-8, Team Vox Eminor.
Yeah, great round there from Vox Eminor. I mean, they didn't have that man in the pit. That could have been alarm bells ringing in their head, but nonetheless they made it work. Nova just clutching out when his team needed it most and clawing themselves a little bit closer to that round win, but Trident just still stringing buys together. I mean, they're sacrificing head armor for utility here. So, I mean, they are playing a very dangerous game, and at some point their economy will be broken, but they are taking that gamble. They are taking the fight to Vox Eminor, and they're just now, again, as we see, setting up that early default. They do have a few more members in Banana this time than they did previously, not opting for that second mid apartment control, and now they are starting to redistribute themselves back towards that B site as we see the bomb make its way back up Banana, and it looks to be a set execute here quite early on in the picture for Vox Eminor, still leaving themselves the opportunity to fake if they need it, but nonetheless RBZ opens up things on that site there, and again Sicko just showing us why he's such an impactful player for this team. Does pick up that frag. Break on the lurk though, does get picked up by Kozi. Kozi doing a great job for his team, just making that rotation hell for Trident. And now Aiden is going to have his AWP tested here. Moe though steps out after that shot is taken. Doesn't take the man he's after, but nonetheless now has Aiden cordoned off. Does do the damage though with that frag. Great awareness from Moe, just picking his moment to step out there. And cleaning things up, as we said, though, Trident were playing a dangerous game and their economy is just on the rocks.
Yeah, they're in a horrible situation now where I guess Voxem are only needing 2 rounds to win, 1 to potentially get to that map point, and Trident can barely afford to put up any sort of resistance, at least Arsenal-wise. They have gone for the 4D approach, I guess reminiscing on what was once a powerful weapon in Counter-Strike 1.6. A lot more inconsistent weapon these days is probably the best word I can come up with, but Moe does get the first frag onto break, so with RBZ quickly in tow and another one for Moe there in mid, so very, very quickly this round is falling apart for Team Trident. They've only got 2 members left. Their position is known, at least one of them anyway, in Boiler Room there. Some shooting went down earlier on in the round that gave that away, and Sicko's HE grenade will surely seal the deal. The bomb will get planted, and this will be Vox Eminor moving to 15 rounds, setting themselves up with 7 match points. I know they're an inexperienced lineup, only having been together 2 or 3 weeks, but surely with the strong individuals they've got, you can't really expect or can't rest on your laurels of having to secure 7 rounds in a row to take it to OT. That's going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, we saw them do it in their domestic season, but that's a much different competition, though. The HLTV skips a little bit forward, but Break picks up an early frag along with Aiden, who he actually does have that AWP, and nonetheless, though, they have thinned out their numbers somewhat a little bit as that grenade takes a bit of a funny path there. 4v3 the situation here. Trident are going to try and hold their sight, though. Nova does pick up a frag of banana, quickly traded out by Lonsdale there, and now 3v4. The CTs, more importantly, I guess, a stretch between the 2 sites. As we see now, they are going to take that 2-on-1 in the B site, with them heading up the banana there, straight into the action there. Lonsdale is going to be the man on point, as he is shoulder picking there. Does have a little bit of information, but unfortunately gets caught with his grenade out. Sicko just opening it up a little bit too easily there. That bomb will go down and a 2v2 retake will occur.
Well, that's right, and Trident must win this, of course, if they don't have any chance of continuing on this map. You can see that Break does have an AWP, so that's going to be ever so difficult at the close quarters as they do try and move through the connector or even up through the B main stairs here. As it is, both members coming from CT spawn. Break going connector, I think it's also Yellow just holding strong there at CT, trying to create 2 different angles of attack here as they do try and reclaim what was once theirs. They move in now. Nice little pop flash there from Yellow through the smoke. Does spot out Sicko and Banana and does drop him down, but spots out Kozza at the back with the grenade in hands. I thought he was done for, but with 1 HP, he goes for the knife, gets one in. But as the GGs come out, there is not enough time left. And in the end, the knifer becomes the knifey. I'm not sure if that's technically correct, but Kozza seals the deal. Another cut rounds there as Kozza wins Inferno for his team. 16-8 Vox Eminor, but I must be honest, 16-8 is probably more generous on the scoreboard than it seemed to me when I was spectating. The CT half from Vox Eminor, I think they were losing rounds that they probably shouldn't have, and in hindsight, they'll probably regret. I think that's probably teething issues as we suggested, but to still finish with 16-8 despite that